Miami Hurricane fans joining us now from Kane Sports, a man going on year 44, covering the Miami Hurricanes better than anybody else in the entire industry, and that's Gary Ferman. Gary, how we doing, man? Almost time for football.
I'm ready, man. It's a good time for Miami to be starting a new season after last year, to be honest with you. And they've hit the reset button. They've turned over almost half the roster, and they're ready to go down here and see what they've got.
And a big reason for confidence, you and I were talking on the phone the other day, is they got the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler Van Dyke coming back at quarterback. And that's reason for excitement within Coral Gables. But for some reason, Gary, he's kind of flying under the radar, it seems, a little bit nationally.
JD, it's really weird, man. Like, this is a guy that 2 years ago was going into his second season of college football. People were talking about him as a Heisman candidate. They were talking about him as a potential first-round draft pick in year 3 of his eligibility there. And, last year just went haywire. I mean, he struggled earlier in the year to grasp Josh Gaddis's offense. There was absolutely a disconnect. Then he finally is starting to get it. It's starting to click. He throws for, I think, 500 yards against North Carolina. And then he hurts his shoulder, and that derailed the rest of the year. So he's fully rehabbed. He's back. He's looking every bit the old TVD on the practice field. What he doesn't have this year, JD, is he does not have Charleston Rambo, who he had 2 years ago, who had that amazing receiving season that helped TVD put himself on the map. But he has a stable of receivers that is deep, and a lot of guys that, if they're used the right way by a new offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, can build numbers and build yards and stats. And I'm expecting, if he stays healthy, that he is going to have a phenomenal year. He will be back on the radar, and then we'll see what that means. If it means that he's back being drafted in the first round, he's going to go to the draft. But I'm not sure that it can play out that way. I think he might still need yet one more year next year. So that's going to be like a little subplot. We'll see what happens. But Miami's very excited to have TVD back on the field, and he's looked very good in fall camp.
Yeah, I'm sure Miami fans would welcome if he wanted to come back for, one more year in Coral Gables, get another year in Shannon Dawson's offense, and kind of get that thing rolling. I'm sure nobody would have any issues with that. But no, Gary, what you said, I think say that again.
If he has a good year this year, and he comes back next year regarded as one of the better quarterbacks in the country, and then he is being projected again for the first round and those sorts of things. So it could be worth a lot of money to him, not just in NIL where he would command a lot, but it might be worth it for him to come back. So I don't see it as a foregone conclusion that this is one more and done for TVD. We'll see how it goes.
And a big part of that, like you were saying, Gary, is what does he have around him? And a big question mark, or a question mark at the least, is what's going to happen at wide receiver for Miami. Is there anybody that you're watching specifically to maybe be a guy who could emerge for the Hurricanes this season?
I mean, they have so many guys. Colby Young was someone that showed a lot in moments last year. Now he's back in way better physical condition. He's looking good. Jacoby George is having a phenomenal fall camp. They have hopes that he can pull it all together this year. Xavier Restrepo is always a practice field freak. He puts up amazing numbers on the practice field. He's the true possession receiver. He's healthy again after being hurt last year as well. So you're looking at those guys. But when I look at the thing, I say, where's my alpha dude? Where's my Andre Johnson? Where's my Michael Irvin? Where's my guy that is going to change football games, that is going to make defensive coordinators sweat and alter game plans? And if I'm going to look for that guy on this team, I'm looking at Ray Joseph, the true freshman. He's a jitterbug type receiver, but very high quality. And if they could find ways to get him the ball in space, he will catch it, and he will rack up those yards after catch. And to me, he has the best chance of all these players at receiver for Miami to bust out and have a monster season.
It's one of those dudes, just get him the ball, let him go to work. So
where he can do his thing, absolutely. And that's, that, as you know, that's design. And that's Shannon Dawson is supposed to be great at that. So we'll see.
Miami Hurricane fans, the Roundtable is brought to you by the good folks over at Game Time. If you're watching us from South Florida and you're getting ready for college football season, you want to go to some Hurricane games, you got to have tickets. Don't be out in the cold when it comes to kickoff and wondering, man, I wish I could have gotten into the game and seen Miami and when they took down X, Y, and Z team. Don't let that be the case. I want you to download the Game Time app, redeem code ROUNDTABLE, terms apply, create an account, redeem code ROUNDTABLE for $20 off your first purchase. College football season is almost here. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance and worrying about having to get your tickets for November right now. Don't worry about that. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event, or in our case, it could be the college football game. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets on all sports and entertainment events. You're in Miami, if you're watching us from South Florida and worrying about the Miami Hurricanes and what they're going to do this season, you also have access to a bunch of other cool entertainment events, from comedy shows to concerts, whatever it may be. Game Time guarantees that you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section in row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Those greenbacks, they're important to you. They're important to Game Time for you. So make sure that you use Game Time to get that done. So here's what we're going to do. Snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ROUNDTABLE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code ROUNDTABLE for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today, Junior. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Hey, it's a good world to live in. Well, Gary, we are so close to actual football games being played, and with that comes fall camp leading into that kind of operation. Fall camp, then the games. With fall camp rolling right now in Coral Gables, who are some guys that are maybe turning heads right now during this whole lead up to the season?
Offensively, you got to look at the running backs, man. I mean, Mark Fletcher, the true freshman, has shown up in beast mode, and he is having an incredible training camp. He is going to play a lot. And then the Nebraska transfer, Jay Allen, he has come south on a mission. This kid is all about business. Anytime you see him, talk to him, he's very focused. Not a lot of clowning around or anything like that. This kid is lighting it up on the practice field as well. The Miami run game. Watch the Miami run game this year to complement Shannon Dawson's passing schemes, because if they can run the football, man, Miami's offense is going to look like Miami's offense again. So I would focus on those guys. There's a young offensive lineman, Matthew McCoy, that's showing signs that he's getting closer and closer to being ready. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you got to look at defensive end Nigel E. Kelly. He's a second-year guy. They feel he could be a great player at Miami. Just has to pull it all together. He's getting a lot of coaching from Jason Taylor, the Hall of Famer that's now coaching Miami's defensive line, defensive ends. They are hoping that Nigel E. Kelly becomes a superstar this season.
For everyone that is listening or watching right now, fall camp is a great time to get a temperature for what you're going to do during the season. The best way to do that for Miami, get a membership at Kane Sport, lock in with Gary Ferman and them over there. I promise you won't regret it. We'll keep you in the know more than anybody else when it comes to Miami. Gary, appreciate you, man. Almost time for football. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Anytime, man. We appreciate you as well.
Miami fans, if you liked that video, go get a membership at Kane Sport. Going to keep you in the know for all things involving the U. Also, subscribe right here to the On3 Roundtable YouTube channel.